Yeah. Right. So this is going to be our middleware technologies syllabus. So there are 5 units. Unit 1 is all about the introduction part, where which will be comprising of the basics of let's say middleware technologies, which we'll be studying on it. So something like what is software architecture, and then how these components are being coming to play into the market, and then we'll be going towards the fundamental properties of the component technologies. All those things we will be discussing in the unit number 1. And unit number 2 all about Java component technologies, because that is one of the strong middleware technologies that has been ever introduced into the market. So starting from the threading concept as well as multi-threading concept, and then we'll be moving towards Java Beans, and then Java Beans related stuff, which we'll be discussing during the second unit, which is Java component technologies. And the third one is going to be Corba technologies, where which is also one of the powerful middleware technologies has been introduced by OMG, that is Object Management Group. So they are the one pioneer into the market, and they are the one, they have set the standards for this particular what to say middleware technologies, which you are currently studying in this particular what to say subject. And that is all about Corba technologies. And then unit 4 is all about common .NET technologies, where first what to say the 2 units, it's all about Java based technologies we'll be studying on it. And fourth unit, it's all about common .NET technologies, where it's all comes under .NET platform. So in this .NET platform also, they have a middleware to say components have been available. So those things we'll be discussing in unit number 4. And unit number 5, it's all about framework and development. So component framework, as well as what are kind of development which is happening related to say component, that we'll be discussing unit number 5. Right. So now unit number 1, in this introduction, we'll be start studying about the basic of what do you say middleware technologies. So what is that middleware? So it is between client and the server. So normally what will happen, just imagine there are multiple clients are there, and they'll be trying to connect to the server. And the client can give any kind of request. It may be a static request, it may be a dynamic request, or it may be active request. So different kind of requests which will be coming from the client to the server. And when that is going to happen, so during that time, the server has I would say a load. That means it can have a capability of handling only certain what to say set of clients. So if it is going beyond the limit, what will happen at one point of time, the server might go down, or it may be crash down. So there is a possibility which might happen. So you might have come across many situations, something like the big billion day, where what do you say our Flipkart as server has been gone down, because many are what do you say targeting. So because of that, it has what do you say gone down for at least a few hours, and then only they have what do you say started again. So these are all what do you say issues which has happened in the market. So they want to have a kind of solutions to be given, how we can avoid the server might go down. So where they thought of, let's say, why can't we keep a middleman? So through the middleman, all the requests that need to be passed to the server, so that it can be handled very efficiently. So that is where that middleware will come into play. So whenever the client is giving a request, instead of going to the server, it will go to the middleware, and through the middleware, that request will be passed to the server. So where if more number of requests will come, it will put in a queue, and then one by one it will be get served, so that they can be avoiding all kind of collusion which is happen with the server. So that is where that middleware will come into play. And along with that, if they want to pass through multiple what do you say, systems, where the middleware is going to be playing a vital role. So something like if you're going for a Flipkart, if you're trying to purchase an item, so you can what do you say put it in a shopping cart, and then when you go for what do you say making a payment, which will go into that payment gateway. So that is going to be a third party. So that is your middleware. So here, what is happening? You'll be having an account in one particular what do you say bank, but you can use a different payment gateway. That means third party tool, and through that we can go for making a payment. So otherwise, just imagine if you are going for targeting on the particular bank, so it might go down. So that's the reason why they have used these kind of mechanism to what to say they can scatter, because the user can go into any kind of a payment mode, and through that they can make a payment, so that they can what to say divide the users into various channel, and through that they can what to say uh, easily the transactions can be done. So that is where that middleware will come into play. I think you are getting what I'm trying to say, right? So in this middleware technologies, the unit one introduction point, we'll be discussing about what is software architecture. So you might have studied a computer architecture during your what to say UG. So in UG, where it's all computer architecture is all nothing that the components which is being part of your system, physical system. Your physical system will be containing a set of components. So those components need to be put it in a particular structure, and you need to integrate each other and to work on it. So where that would say computer architecture will come into play. But when you go for a software architecture, the complexity level of the system, the software has been increased. So they want to manage it effectively and efficiently, where they have come up with an idea which is called software architecture. Even for a software also they have created architecture. So that is what we are going to discuss in unit number one. And then what is component? So what is the need of a component? So why this component has been brought into the market? So that we'll be discussing in the next topic. And along with that, we'll be going for discussing about the fundamental properties of the component technologies, which is what to say essential for developing an application. So that we'll be discussing the next topic. And then we'll be moving towards modules. So why modules are being essential for your component based technologies, and then what are the interfaces, and how the interfaces are going to be used effectively for middleware technologies, and then what is callbacks, and why it has become essential. And then we'll be moving towards different services being offered from the what to say the third party, so which is called one of the key services are nothing the directory services. So that we'll be discussing on what is the directory services, and how what to say it is going to be playing a vital role for what to say application running in a smoother way. And then we'll be going towards what to say component architecture. So for each and every component, there is an architecture. So that component architecture, something like MVC, you might have heard about it, model view controller. So that is one of the component architecture. So that we will be discussing in this particular unit number one. So it's all about the basis of let's say middleware technologies, which we'll be discussing in unit number one. So once we got the foundation, next we'll be going for different component technologies has been to say existing on the market. So one of the key technologies, which is nothing but Java component technologies. So Java has come up with the yeah, component technology, which is what to say used widely in the market. So they started with the concept of threads and multi-threading, and that is a part of core Java. So where they have created a mechanism, you can go for parallelly running multiple application, which is very much possible. So they want to go into the next level. So they want that what do you say applications need to be divided into various components. And whenever the component is being needed, we can go for attaching it. And whenever the component is not needed, we can go for attaching those components. So those kind of scenarios, what do you say, uh, where the Java Beans, which has been come into play. So Java Beans is one of the, would say, powerful middleware component-based technologies which has been created from Java. So where this Java Beans have been created using core Java only. And one of the key aspects they have taken, which is nothing that a platform independent. So Java Beans became a platform independent, so you can use it in any platform. And here in this Java Beans, we'll be discussing about the introduction point of view, as well as what are the events and connections which is being part of this Java Beans, and the properties which is related to Java Beans, because the property in the sense when are you going for any of the we'll say languages where we'll be having a set of controls. So for that controls will be having a property. So properties are nothing but attributes. So those attributes we'll be discussing under this. And introspection is basically like how we can go for we'll say making this particular control interconnect with the other control and then talk to each other. So where that introspection will come into play. And then how to create a jar file. So something like you might have created exe file or a compress file. So similar way for here Java archive file, how to create this Java archive file. So that's what we're going to discuss. And then the reflection. So this is one of the key component, would you say, of this particular Java Beans that we'll be discussing on it. And object serialization. So serializations become another important aspects where through we can avoid this, would you say, uh, possibility of the deadlock or other issues that can be avoided. So where the serialization will be playing a key role. And then we'll be moving towards the latest one of this Java Beans, which is nothing that Enterprise Java Bean, EJB, that is called EJB, Enterprise Java Beans. So this Enterprise Java Beans, it's all about, uh, enhanced version of Java Beans, where it has been currently adapted in the industry for component creation, which will be more advanced features than your Java Beans. So that we'll be discussing on it. And then we'll be moving towards DOME, that is distributed object model. So which is one of the hierarchy models that has been created in the object management group for how the components are being need to be used in object models, and the hierarchy level also being given, and so that we can able to do a lot of things. So that is all about DOME. And then the next one, which is we'll be discussing on about RMA and RMA IOP. So RMA is nothing but remote method invocation. So that means the method has been there in a remote machine. If you want to access that method to your application, or you need to do some kind of process, if you want to request, and then that need to give a response back to you. So those kind of scenarios, would say earlier they use one of the key mechanism from would say Java, which is nothing that RMI, remote method invocation. So something like how we are invoking the function in local. So similar way we can able to would say get that remote method also to your system, and then you can work on it. So they made it in a more simplified manner. So for that, there is a protocol which has been adapted. So one of the key protocol which they are using, which is nothing that IIOP. So Internet Interoperability Object Protocols, which has been created in the market. So that we'll be discussing under RMI IIOP. So this is all about unit number 2. And one more thing, in this semester, you have that J2EE is there. So Java 2 Enterprise Edition. So in this Java 2 Enterprise Edition also, you'll be studying about Java Beans and then the Enterprise Java Beans with the practical aspects we'll be doing on it. So for that, there'll be an external person which will be coming and will be, I would say, handling the classes for you. I mean, from the industry the person will be coming, and then from the industry perspective, you can able to get that particular enterprise Java Beans. So here I'll be covering all theoretical aspects as well as some small programs which will be giving for creation of the component. And in J2EE we'll be going to the next level, because using J2EE only we'll be going for creating the project in ECP project. So that means it is like a combined together. Like, so your middleware technologies, so you'll be studying the concept with the basic program, you'll be studying on it. And then when you go for your J2EE, where you'll be having a course, which is a SEC, that is skill enhancement course. You'll be studying all the advanced level Java programming, and then that we will be implementing in the ECP project. So you all the way you'll be covering the entire thing. So in that way you'll be having practical as well as you'll be having theory also. That means theoretical concept will be studying, as well as the practical also will be seeing on it, and you'll be implementing in the project also. So that means the entire thing is being happening. That means the complete cycle is being taken place. So see to that you are utilizing it properly. So that is more important. So that is what we expected from each and every student. So try to use it effectively. So that is more important. And the unit 2 is all, sorry, unit 3 is all about Corba technologies. So in this Corba technologies, we'll be discussing about what is Corba. So Corba is nothing that component object request broker architecture. Component object request broker architecture. So there itself we have an answer, which is a broker, is a a middleman acting between the client and the server for an establishing the connection as well as to say doing the transactions, so which will be happening through a middleman. So where that Corba has been playing an would say strong foundation. So which is one of the would say core technologies have been created for middleware at the beginning, and from there only Java and .NET and other would say technologies have been evolved into the market. So that is the reason why the Corba has been given in unit number 3 to give more insight about it. Would say you should aware of that this is one of the powerful technologies have been used in the market. And if you see that some of the industries still now also they are using this particular Corba technologies for I would say middleman, as a middleman they are using it. So here we'll be discussing about IDF. So and IDL, which is nothing but interface definition language. So interface definition language is basically nothing that we'll be using, I would say, multiple languages for developing your application. So when are you going for, I would say, using multiple languages? So where when you're compiling, so the compiling platform is going to be a single. So when you are compiling it, the compiler need to understand all these languages, and accordingly it has to go for giving a solution. Because one person can go for using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and even they can go for using the say Java Beans or enterprise Java Beans. So that means multiple languages they are using it. So all these things need to put together in a single platform, and that need to be get compiled, and then you have to go for execution. So where would you say the ideal will come into play, and which is can understand about all these languages, and accordingly it will start working on it. So that is what the biggest advantage when you go for using this ideal. So we'll be discussing more detail into that. And there'll be an would you say object request broker. So that is called ORB. So ORB also has been available. So one of the would you say powerful mechanism ever has been created this particular Corba I would say architecture. So in this Corba architecture, one of the key component, which is nothing but ORB, so object request broker. So whenever the client is being requesting, the request will come to ORB. And from the ORB only it will be passing to the server. So it won't directly connect to the server. So through ORB only all these transactions will be taken place. So which is called object request broker. So that means the object is going to would you say request for the particular middleman. So which is the middleman? Something like either maybe a C or C++ or Java or maybe Ada or it may be even some other language also. So this object request broker will be giving a request to all these languages, and then it will be get processed, and then finally it will be moving towards what you say the server for further processing. And then once it has been done, then it will come back what you say to the client. So here if you see that the ORB will be there in the client side as well as in the server side also. In detailed discussion, I'll tell you what are those things, and with the diagram we'll be seeing about the explanation. And we'll be discussing about object adapter also. So because adapter has been playing a vital role. So the second semester you have studied that adapter classes, right? So to say override the remaining set of classes being remaining set of methods which is not to be implemented, only one method which is need to be implemented for you, that method we can use it, where that adapter class will come into play. So similar kind of things even here also we have that object adapter is there, so where it can able to adapt any kind of object that you're trying to use it in your transactions, especially in the middleware level. So where one of the key mechanisms is being called as POA, which is called portable object adapter. So portable means you can say carry anywhere. That is called portable, right? And we'll be discussing about Corba services as well as component model. And what do you say? We have that model-driven architecture also. That is MD also will be having a discussion under this particular unit number 3. Okay, so this is all about unit number 3, and then we'll be moving towards unit number 4, where we'll be discussing about common .NET technologies. So in this common .NET technologies, which is one of the would you say middleware technologies has been created by Microsoft platform. The first ever would you say middleware technologies has been created from .NET platform, which is nothing but COM. So COM is nothing that component object model. Component object model. So this component object model is again it's similar like your Java Beans and enterprise Java Beans, where the user can go for creating of their own customized control, as well as even they can go for creating a customized set of controls and make it as a one component, which is very much possible, where that COM is being playing a vital role. So in this COM, the next level we'll be discussing about DCOM, that is distributed COM. So in a distributed environment, how this COM can be used. So where the DCOM will come into play. And along with that, there are few set of, would say, concepts which has been related to this particular COM. We'll be discussing on it. So something like how to reuse your object, so reusability thing, and then interfaces as well as the versioning. So version is nothing that each and every release has a version number, right? So 1.1, 1.2, or maybe like 2, 3, 4, like that. They'll be releasing the various versions. So how we can go for, say, versioning that particular various component that you're trying to release on into the market, and on what basis that you're going to give on it, and whether you have that backward and forward, say, compatibility support which has been part of your component. All those things will be discussing under versioning. And dispatch interfaces and connectable objects, and as well as we'll be going for OLE, so object linking and embedding. So OLE is nothing but object linking and embedding. So where OLE containers and servers also will be discussing on it, and along with that, we'll be going for one of the key, would say, component which is being part of your COM, which is nothing but ActiveX control. So using ActiveX control, we can go for creating our own customized control, which is very much possible. So where, would you say, through that you can do a lot of things. So that is one of the most important component part of this particular COM. And then the next one we'll be discussing about assemblies. So what is assemblies and how we can go for utilizing your applications, and in what level that assemblies can be used. And then we'll be discussing about app domains, that is application domains, as well as contacts and reflections, remoting. So all these are all different, I would say, .NET components, which also will be discussing in detail during the fourth unit. And the last unit is all about component frameworks and development. So what is this connect us? Okay, so because already we have seen, would say, the software architecture has been playing a vital role for your middleware technologies. So for that, they have created a framework, something like you might have seen that .NET framework, and you have a J2EE framework. So these are all the framework, which is even Struts framework and Spring framework. So like that, there are various frameworks are being available in the market. So what is that framework and why it has been essential, and what it is doing? So that is what we are going to discuss in the unit number 5. So in this, one of the key concept is called connectors. So what is this connectors, and how would say various components are being connected together, and would say working together. So that is what we're going to discuss. And we'll be discussing about EJB containers. So containers is nothing that would you say where you can able to place all your components. So something like a placeholder, something like a placeholder where you can keep all this. Something like you can, maybe other aspect I can say, like it's something like your folder. So in the folder you are going to keep all your files. So similar way, if you want to place your components, we need to have a container, right? So kind of surface where we want to place all your say controls. So where that EJP containers will come into play. And similar way, from Microsoft, we have that CLR, that is Common Language Runtime. CLR is nothing that Common Language Runtime, where we'll be running multiple languages in a single environment. So how it will be get executed? So that is called CLR context. And what are the channels are being part of this particular CLR context, that we'll be discussing under this. And then we'll be discussing about one of the key framework on this particular component, which is nothing but black box component framework. So what is that, and how it's working? So that we'll be discussing on it. And then along with that, we'll be discussing about even would say cross platform would say environment also, because sometimes we might be using a different platform. So one application will be, the main one component will be from Windows, another component will be from Linux. So these two things need to talk to each other and then work together. So it is something like a cross platform, right? So one is from Windows, another one is from the Linux. So when they want to talk to each other, so there should be a mechanism should be there to would say work on it. So where that would say cross development environment, so that we are going to discuss on it. And as well as component oriented programming, because nowadays there are component oriented programming has been evolved into the market. So one of the thing is just nothing that the enterprise Java means, and second one is something like a DCOM, and then we have that MTS, so which is nothing that the Microsoft Transaction Service. So and Complex also has been available in the market. So these are all the few would say technologies are being evolved into the market. So it's all mainly focusing on the component-oriented programming. So that we'll be discussing on it, and then we'll be moving towards what are the different tools are being available for component level designing, developing, and testing. Because component level also we need to go for designing the components, as well as we need to go for testing the components, as well as we need to go for implementing the components. So for that, various tools have been available. So those tools will be discussing under the last topic, which is all about component design and implementation tool, and as well as we'll be discussing about testing tools as well as assembly tool also. So these are the various tools are being available for component development. So that we'll be discussing under the last topic of this particular middleware technologies syllabus. Right. So these are all about 5 units which we'll be discussing in detail in the coming days. So this I'm given the brief or glimpse about this particular syllabus, what you're going to study on it. And for this, there are set of reference books have been given. So starting from Alan Gordon, so the COM and COM plus programming, it's all about only focusing on COM technologies. And second one is Andreas Vogel, so Java programming with Corba. And the third one is As Rafael Yashir Shawshat, mastering COM and COM plus. And there is another author which is called Ed Roman, so for EJB, and Jose Mojaika for COM plus programming with Visual Basic. So these are all for different technologies. So one is for COM, another one is for COM plus, and third one is for Corba, and another one is for Java Beans. So like that, for different technologies we are studying, right? So for that, different books are being given. But one of the core book which you need to refer by you, which is nothing but this one. Okay, so Sudha Sadasivam. So that is the author name, Sudha Sadasivam. So the subject title itself has been chosen from this book, particular book only. So component-based technology. So in that, if you go for it, this book, if you refer, the entire syllabus being covered. Okay, so this one book which will cover the entire syllabus. So you can go for referring this particular book. There are 2 copies have been available in our library. And as well as even if you go for online, you can find out this particular text information, but you won't be getting copies. So that means ebooks is not available. So only that hard copy has been available. So so there are plenty of discounts are being given in the online. So if you like to go for purchasing it, you can just purchase, or you can use library to refer this particular book. Anyway, after 15 days, you'll be coming back to campus. That time you can go to library and you can pick up that particular book. So you can take the xerox and keep it. So that will be useful for you. So this is all about the introduction as well as a glimpse of this particular subject. So now it's an open for a discussion. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me.